Okay. Shall we begin? Welcome, good evening. I'm ready. Okay. Tonight we're going to learn, first of all, welcome everyone. Today we start something new. I'm a little frustrated in the fact that, going through these sikhs and knowing the urgency of learning each and every one of them, as they're so powerful, as we've seen in Parshas Chayis. Yes. Do you hear me?
I'm gonna mute all callers, so then I'm just gonna need you to unmute yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Good. The recording has started.
Okay. Am I good now? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Let me know if there's a problem. Okay, what I was just saying, first of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you. We're going to start today something, a short little talk from the Rebbe of Ropshetz Kislev, as a Hachan at Ropshetz Kislev. Hopefully we'll finish it tonight, because I'm very excited to learn the following Parshas Vayeshev Sicha. Are we good? Let me see now. I just want to make sure I'm on with you. Okay, now I'm good. Okay, sorry. Okay, so tonight we're going to learn the Sikha from Ropshetz Kislev. It was actually said for Yechidus, in a private audience. The Rebbe spoke Yechidus Klolis in Ropshetz Kislev, Tafshin Nun Beis. Okay, hopefully we finish this. I'll try to do it briefly so we can finish the whole thing today. And because next week I'm excited to teach Parshas Vayeshev, which is awesome. And really all these sikhs on Nun Beis, if we really learn them carefully, they're unbelievable. So it's painful to have to skip around. Like, it hurt me so much that let's say Parshas Chayisara, we all saw how amazing it was. But Parshas Chayisara comes off an unbelievable sikha of Parshas Vayera. And then Parshas Toldos is like, there's chidushim here that are just mind-blowing. Parshas Toldos, and then Parshas Vayetze this week is incredible stuff. But I'm excited. So let's learn whatever we can, and hopefully we won't have to learn the whole Sefer to experience the complete redemption. Just the undertaking that we're doing this itself should be Megala Mashiach Tzedkeinu Teikav Miyad Mamish. Okay, here we are. So this was said in the Yechidus Klolis, in the general Yechidus to whoever was there on Ropshetz Kislev, the last time the Rebbe spoke to us in Ropshetz Kislev. Here we go. In Yana Shel Chag HaGeula Ropshetz Kislev, the inyan of the Yom Tov, of the Geula, of the Ropshetz Kislev of the day is the liberation of the Alter Rebbe, as it's referred to Chag HaGeula, which is referred to as the Friediger Rebbe refers to it in a letter as Chag HaChagim, the holiday of all holidays. Mudgish b'pasuk Pada b'shalom nafshi is emphasized in the pasuk Pada b'shalom nafshi, and as we know, that's what we sing on Ropshetz Kislev. Everything is related to the idea of He has redeemed in peace my soul. As understood from the words of the Alter Rebbe in his famous letter. Kishekarisi b'sefer Tehillim b'pasuk Pada b'shalom nafshi yotzasi b'shalom Hashem shalom. When I read Tehillim, these are the words of the Alter Rebbe. When the Alter Rebbe read in Tehillim the pasuk Pada b'shalom nafshi, that's when they notified him, or that's when they released him. Yotzasi b'shalom, I went out in peace, Hashem shalom, from the Eibush, from the God of peace. Uba Hagdama, and by first prefacing, shenoisef ala pirush b'divrei bala geula, shepada b'shalom nafshi ka geula shaloi. Now, in addition to the simple pirush in the words of the Alter Rebbe, that Pada b'shalom nafshi, this pasuk in Tehillim, Pada b'shalom nafshi, is referring to the Alter Rebbe's redemption. As he says clearly, Kishakarisi Pada b'shalom nafshi yotzasi b'shalom, that when I read Pada b'shalom nafshi, that's when I went out in peace. In other words, sometimes we get so carried away with Chassidus that we forget that there is a simple pirush as well. Meaning, it's true, the Alter Rebbe took Pada b'shalom nafshi and he associated with himself. that his redemption is associated with Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. And I have no doubt in my mind that when David HaMelech said Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, he was Beruach HaKodesh referring to Yutas Kislev many years later, when there would be the redemption of the Alter Rebbe. That's without a doubt. But notwithstanding that, it doesn't take away, or it doesn't remove the simple pirush of Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, which the pasuk was said way before the days of the Alter Rebbe, way before the Alter Rebbe was born. It was said in regards to David HaMelech. David HaMelech is saying regarding to himself, Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. What's the pasuk? Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, I redeemed it. My soul was redeemed in peace, or He redeemed in peace my soul. Referring to Hashem, redeemed my soul in peace. Mikrav li, from those that are waging war against me, from those that are combating me. Because with the many He was with me. So who said this? Amrei David HaMelech. So David HaMelech said it. On his victory in his wars, and David HaMelech attributed the merit of his victories and his wars, b'schus harabim, that he was redeemed in the merit of the rabbim. So Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, why was there a pediyah in David HaMelech's neshama that he was able to be victorious in his wars? Was ki berabim hayu amadi. David HaMelech didn't take the credit for himself. He says it's the merit of the rabbim. The community was with me. The public were with me. That they were helping him by davening for him. Amazing. Then when a public davens for someone, it has a big effect. This week we were watching the WhatsApps that were coming out just the other day when the fires were raging over here in our neighborhood over here in California. And Shliach Malibu sent out a SOS, emergency, everybody should say Tillim, and everybody said Tillim, and then very quickly he reported Baruch Hashem. So it's not like, okay, so Baruch Hashem, it's not our danger. It's because of the Tehillim that we say when the public gets together, especially a tzibur, especially a tzibur of shluchim, and we do it with such brotherly love and with such empathy and such care, and we say Tehillim, it affects. So David HaMelech actually said that his pediyah that he had during his time against his enemies came because the community davened for him. And so much so was the public together with David HaMelech, to the point where even the people of Avshalom, who's David HaMelech's enemy, he was a son, but he revolted against his father. So the people that were with Avshalom were davening for David HaMelech's victory. That's what it says. Yerushalmi, the Rebbe brings it. Okay. So now we have two perushim in Pada B'Shalom. A pediyah of the Alter Rebbe, when the Alter Rebbe was redeemed from his jail, and the pediyah and the redemption of David HaMelech. Now the Rebbe adds a third dimension. This includes, but also this is the main one. Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, the David Malka Mashiach. At the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of David, but not David of the past, but David of the future. David HaMelech, Melech HaMashiach. Who we know that David and Mashiach is one Indian. The David Malka Mashiach simply means the pediyah of Melech HaMashiach. Haritzachen, the Melech Mebeis David. It's the nitzachin of the king who comes from the house of David. And who's the king who comes from the house of David? That's what the Rambam says. Yamoid Melech mi Beis David mi Zerah Shloimeh. The Rambam says, no, the quote of Yev mi Beis David mi Zerah Shloimeh is not from Rambam Mishnah Torah, but from Pirush HaMishnah. Over there, the Rambam explains that Mashiach is from the house of David and from the children of Shlomo HaMelech. And what is he going to do? Sheyilcha Mochames Hashem. Being that, why does Mashiach need a pediyah? What's the redemption of Mashiach? Because Mashiach is going to wage wars, Mochames Hashem, which is Mochames Beis David. That's the wars of the house of David. Shenitzeach. And he has to fight that battle until he's victorious. Now how do we know that Pada B'Shalom Nafshi is related to the Alter Rebbe? Because the Alter Rebbe said, like you saw clearly, that he went out of jail. He wasn't trying to do this. It was Bashkacha Pratis. He was saying Tehillim. Because Pada B'Shalom Nafshi is in the Tehillim of the third day of the week. And the Alter Rebbe, when he said Tehillim, when he was in jail, he said, in addition to the day of the month, he also said the day of the week. So it was on the Tuesday's Tehillim. And that year, the Yutas Kislev came out on Tuesday, and the Alter Rebbe was saying Pada B'Shalom. But the fact that Bashkacha Pratis, he was redeemed when he was saying that pasuk, was an indication, Min HaShamayim, that his redemption is sourced and connected to this Pada B'Shalom. The fact that it's referring to David HaMelech in the past is clear, because David HaMelech says Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. But where do we see that the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi is referring to the Padiyah of Melech HaMashiach from his wars that he has to fight, in which he has to achieve ultimate victory? So he brings, Kefi Shemavar Admar Amtzai. It's like the Mittler Rebbe explains in his Maimer of Pada B'Shalom. There's a Maimer from the Mittler Rebbe also on Pada B'Shalom. Shamitis V'Shleimus Inyan the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. That the completion and the perfection of the Inyan of Pada B'Shalom, the Mittler Rebbe brings many levels in Pada B'Shalom. And he says the most perfect Inyan of Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, Yeh B'Yamoysa Mashiach, will be in the days of Mashiach. In a far superior and greater way than when it was in the days of David HaMelech and Shlomo HaMelech. So far we have 3 Pirushim in Pada B'Shalom. Now we go to the 4th Pirush. Now, in addition to the simple pirush in the pasuk, which we can apply to 3 individuals, then there is a drash, a pirush that the Chachamim say, where? In Masechtas Brachas. And this is more like a drush. What are they saying? They're saying that even though the pasuk is being said by David HaMelech, really it's the Eibishter saying that pasuk. It's the Shechina saying that pasuk. And the Shechina is crying out and saying, Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, I am my soul, which Nafshi is the Shechina is being redeemed. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Kala oisik b'Torah b'gemilas chasadim. Any person who engages in Torah study, like we're doing right now, or b'gemilas chasadim, and we're involved in doing kindness to people, like shluchim are doing all the time. We're running Chabad houses and we're helping people. It's called gemilas chasadim. And in addition to that, all the other gemilas chasadim that every Jew is supposed to do. And when we daven with the tzibur, with the community, Ma'alani olav, the Eibishter considers it Keilu Pedani li ulabanai mi bein umay sa'olam, that he has redeemed me and my children from the umay sa'olam, from the nations of the world. The Gemara darshins the pasuk Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. It's referring to the Eibishter. Hashem is saying Pada B'Shalom redeemed Nafshi, me and my children. That means Hashem and the Jewish people, the Shechina and the Jewish people that are both in exile, because we know wherever the Jewish people are in exile, Hashem is with us. Who redeems them? So what's the redemption? Through Rabbim, we help Hashem get out of Golus. What's the Rabbim? So it's Tefillah b'Rabbim. It's when you daven with a minyan. So you cause the Shechina to go out. And in addition to that, also Gemilas Chasadim, and also learning Torah, in which the Gemara learns out that those 2 things, learning Torah and Gemilas Chasadim, is also hinted to in that pasuk. Shekoy, as Rebbe explains, it's referring to Padiyah Sashchina, the Padiyah, the redemption of the Jewish people. Upenei Yisroel, the Shechina, Upenei Yisroel, and the Jewish people. Shenimtzaim Yachad Begolos, they're together in exile. V'nigolam Yachad, and all of us together are redeemed. Okay? So what do we have now for Pirushim and Pada B'Shalom? It's referring to the Alter Rebbe. It's referring to David HaMelech in his private life way back then in his wars. It's referring to David Malka Mashiach. It's referring to Melech HaMashiach, that he should be redeemed from his tzares. He should be able to be ultimately victorious and win the battle. And as a result of that, he's going to take all the Jewish people with the Eibishter and the Shechina out of Golus, all 4 Pirushim together. So now we can add in the Pirush of the continuation of the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Ki berabim hayu imadi," that with Rabbim you were with me. Sheberabim, what does berabim mean? Mispalim at tzibur, when you daven with the tzibur. Mudgish yoiser amayim the mats of the imadi. It emphasizes more the idea of haya imadi. They were with me. What's the idea of imadi? Is that Yidden and the Eibishter are together. Now, in general, we know wherever the Yidden are, the Shechina is with us. But there's an extra emphasis on Haya Imadi when we daven with a minyan. Why? Because whenever 10 Jews get together, the Rebbe says, there is more presence of the Shechina over there. So the more Yidden daven with minyan, the more they connected they become to the Eibishter, so the more they are Imadi with him. And therefore, when comes time for the Geula to come, and Yidden go out of Golus, the Shechina goes out of Golus. Or the opposite. When it comes time for the Mashiach to come, for the Geula to come, and the Shechina goes out of Golus, the Yidden go out of Golus, because they're inseparable. So even though that's a given, no matter what, but it gets stronger as a result of davening with a minyan, or not just davening with a minyan, Bichlal having communal events with our 10 Jews together doing good things. as he says, Mudgish Yaiser HaMaim the Matzav the Imadi. The Berabim makes it more Imadi. Why? K'mayim Chazal say, Al Kol B'Yasar Shchin Tashaya. Wherever there's 10 Jews, the Shechina dwells. Af she'eino medabrim b'divrei Torah, even when we don't speak words of Torah. That's what the Alter Rebbe says. Just 10 Jews together, the Shechina is there. It says in Tanya, he brings from his Rebbe, the Holy Magid, that if a Malach would come into a room with our 10 Jews together, the Malach would get burnt. How much more so when Yidden are involved in learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. When 10 Yidden sit together and they learn Torah, the Shechina dwells amongst them. And therefore, the so that emphasizes even more that redeemed me and my children. That the Shechina is being redeemed together with the Jewish people. Why? Because we're together. So now, remember in the beginning I said that the taich of the word Pada b'shalom nafshi, I'm redeemed. Mikravli. So the simple meaning of the word mikrav comes from the word krav, comes from the word combat. When you're going to combat, it's called a krav. Like everybody, you're familiar with the term krav maga. Krav maga, right, is a form of Israeli form of martial arts. But the reason why it's called krav maga is because you're actually touching the other person. You're in close combat. So krav means a combat when you're in close contact with the other individual. That's the simple meaning of Pada b'shalom, from even those that are mamish when I'm wrestling with others. But the Rebbe is learning based on what the Medrash, the Gemara in Masechtas Brachas, which learns that the Eibishter says, you're redeeming me and my children. Where do you see Mela that the Eibishter himself is redeemed? Pada b'shalom nafshi, the nefesh, is referring to the Shechina. She's the nefesh hakolelas. She's the general nefesh of the entire world, and definitely the nefesh of the Jewish people. But where do you see that the Jewish people are redeemed? Where do you see my children? So that's learned out from that, as it says later, mikravli. Krav can also be my relatives. So the Shechina says, you're redeeming nafshi together, mikrav, together with my krovim, together with my relatives. So the Rebbe is saying, as a result of us davening or doing things together as a group, then we become more relatives to the Shechina. We hang out together with the Shechina more and more. Imikravli hakroivimli, those that are close to me, shenim tsoyim imadi, who they are always to be found next to me. Okay. So there we have 4 pirushim. Very good. Now, Siv Beis. Ubebir hashayches techol pirushim. Now, what's the shayches of all these pirushim? They seem to be individual geulas. There's 4 geulas, 4 redemptions in history. There are 4 redemptions in different periods, in different points of history, all connected to Pada b'shalom. But if they're all connected to Pada b'shalom, that means there must be a thread that runs through all these geulas. And therefore the Rebbe is going to explain it. The geula of the Alter Rebbe, geula of David HaMelech, the geula of David HaMelech, and the geula, of David Malka Mashiach, of Melech HaMashiach. Geula Shechina in Bnei Yisroel, and the geula of the Shechina with each and every one of us, with the Jewish people. Yeshleima, we can say as follows. The Teichen, the content of the Alter Rebbe's redemption in Yutas Kislev, is Hafatzas Hamayanis, spreading of the well springs. Ki Yedu, as it is known, that the main idea of Yafutzum, it was said to the Baal Shem Tov, that when your well springs will spread forth, Mashiach will come. But the main inyan of Hafatzas Hamayanis, Hischel Achrei Peterburg, started after the Alter Rebbe's arrest and then release in Petersburg, when the Alter Rebbe was released, as it's explained from the Rebbe Rashab. That then it brought a whole new phase in the spreading of Chassidus. The Rebbe Rashab explains, because before Petersburg, the Alter Rebbe's Maimarim were more spiritual, they were more abstract, and they weren't so much enclosed in seichel, in intellect. So therefore, they were kind of hovering above us. The idea of Yafutza Menesecha Chutza means that Chassidus, godliness, should reach the outermost levels of existence, the places that are generally not kalim for Elikus. That's why they're called Chutza. They're less of a kalim. They're outside. They're far from Elikus. And the Eibishter's emes should catch up with those places. And that's what it means. The well springs of the Baal Shem Tov, which is Elikus, which is Getlichkeit, should reach even Chutza. And the first level of chutzah is that the human mind, which generally is very limited and therefore not a keli for elokus, should be able to start experiencing elokus getlachkai. And that happened through Chassidus Chabad Dafka. Well, the Alter Rebbe took these usual truths that are not logical, they're infinitely beyond human logic and understanding, and the Alter Rebbe was able to do the miracle of all miracles and channel them into logic. He didn't transform them into logic, because that means he would be taking them away from what they truly are. They're infinite and they're beyond all understanding. He channeled them into logic that we should be able to understand it. Now the Alter Rebbe did that even before he was in Petersburg. The Alter Rebbe did it when he was Meyased Chassidus Chabad. That was like 20 years earlier. But his main, or maybe 20, 30 years earlier, but it took on a whole new hislapshus. The Chassidus, the Alter Rebbe says, after Petersburg, after his arrest, after Yutas Kislev, was far, far more explained in human logic than before. So that's the idea. So that's the redemption of the Alter Rebbe. Now since through Hafatzas Hamayonis, spreading it, comes Mashiach, Magia Adon Hu Melech HaMashiach, that brings Melech HaMashiach, Nimtza, comes out. Shegeulas Rabbeinu Azaken, that the Geula of the Alter Rebbe, Kishakarisi Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. When I read Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, Yatzasi B'Shalom, I went out in peace. So the first Pirush in Pada B'Shalom that we learned, it's referring to the Alter Rebbe. Kshura, it's connected, very deeply intertwined in Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, the David Malka Mashiach, with the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of David HaMelech, because in general David HaMelech, but the Iker, David HaMelech has Melech HaMashiach. Because then again, in order for Mashiach to come, you need Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of the Alter Rebbe, because that's what enables Mashiach to come. And once you have the connection to David Malka Mashiach, you also have the connection to David HaMelech, because the David HaMelech is the beginning of Melech HaMashiach. So the fact that the Alter Rebbe's redemption enables the redemption of Mashiach, which the seed of it is the redemption of David HaMelech, which later leads, once Mashiach has his redemption, and he's free to redeem, he can come forth and redeem the world. Who does he take out? He takes the Shechina, and he takes the Jewish people out. So that's the fourth Pirush in Pada B'Shalom. Ubemela, so then automatically, Gama Pada B'Shalom Nafshi da Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ubnei Yisroel, it brings the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi from the Eibishter, Padani Liu Labanei Mebeinu Meisa'elam. So suddenly, Yutas Kislev becomes ginormous. Yutas Kislev is not just the Geula of the Alter Rebbe. It's not even just the Geula of Teiras HaChasidus. It's the Geula of everything, because that empowers and enables Mashiach to be redeemed himself from his enemies, which will bring the redemption of the Jewish people and the Shechina out of our Golus, which ultimately redeems the whole world. So that's what it is. So now we have to really gear up for Yutas Kislev, realize that it's unbelievable. The Rebbe now takes it deeper. Not only is the Alter Rebbe's redemption an empowerment for the redemption of, it's not only that in order for that to happen, you first need to have Hafatzas Hamayonis. But the Rebbe says even deeper than that. The inyan of Mashiach is Hafatzas Hamayonis. The Alter Rebbe's redemption, and as a result of that, the explosion of Chassidus, that Chassidus can come everywhere, that itself is Mashiach. Because what's Mashiach? Mashiach is that godliness flows everywhere, that everywhere in the world we experience at the Eibishter. What's Golus? Golus is the Eibishter is blocked, and the Eibishter is concealed. There's blockages. Mashiach is that the Eibishter is not blocked. And in all four corners of the world, Arba Kanfei Sa'aretz, there is a Gilui of the Eibishter. And through what is that? That's Chassidus. Chassidus, when you speak Chassidus to someone, you're revealing a Lukus in this world. Chassidus is a Lukus. So Chassidus is Mashiach. And even deeper, the spreading of the well springs outward, this is the Teichen itself, the Bias HaMashiach, of the coming of Mashiach, U'Ge'ulas HaShechina, and the Geula of the Shechina, U'Bnei Yisroel, and the Jewish people. What is the content of spreading the well springs of Chassidus outward? Is that the world, it reveals itself in the world, the knowledge of God. And the more there is, and it gets added on, more Yediyas Alakus, more knowledge of the Eibishter in the world. The more we do that, we're getting closer to the time to the time of Yemosei Mashiach. Shaloya Eisa Kala Olam. What's going to be the business and the occupation of the whole world? El Dasas Hashem Belvad, to know the Eibishter alone, no other occupation. In other words, everybody will be learning Chassidus all day long. Like it says, the world will be filled with knowledge of the Eibishter, like this, the waters cover the sea. Not only that the world will not conceal godliness, Golos HaShechina, which is the state the way things are now, Chas v'Shalom, there's Golos HaShechina. The contrary. Golos HaShechina means what Shechina? Shechina is the power of the Eibishter that's in the world, but that the world is not realizing it. The world is not acknowledging it. The world, an object of the world doesn't feel that its life force is dependent on the creative energy of the Shechina that's in it, the spark of the Shechina that's in it. So that's Chas v'Shalom, the state of Golos HaShechina. What's the opposite? When Mashiach will come, the opposite. The Shechina is going to be so overwhelming and so powerful, she is going to cover everything like the ocean covers. You won't see the creation, it's going to be covered by the Shechina, it's going to be covered by a Lukus. The whole world is going to be swimming in godliness. It's the total opposite of Golos. Golos means she can't express herself. And Geula means she's fully expressed. She's so expressed that the whole world is just filled with her expression. That's the tachlis of the shleimus, of the redemption of the Shechin. Now, if that's the whole world, how much, now the Rebbe is going to say how that's the redemption of the Jewish people as well. Because what is it going to do to the Jewish people? What does the Rambam say? That in the days of Mashiach, Yidden are going to be very, very wise. And Yidden are going to know all the concealed things. And Yidden are going to know the mind of their Creator, as much as a person possibly can know. Which that is the ultimate. That not only is that we know the Eibishter in the biggest way, but it's the ultimate connection of Yidden to the Eibishter, which is the idea of what? Mikrav li. We said earlier, Mikrav li means they are close to me. They are my krovim. So you can't get more close when Yidden know the Eibishter on the highest level of knowing. So it's the ultimate intimacy, the ultimate oneness of Yidden. So it comes out according to this. Hafatzas Hamayonis is not only one of the things we do in order to bring. There are many segulas to bring Mashiach. The Rebbe would always tell us, Gedoyle Tzedakah Shemakareves as a geula. Avas Yisroel is Mavatal Sinas Chinam, brings the geula. Learning Mishnayos, the Gemara says, is a gechanatri. There are many things. But these are things that help Mashiach come. But Hafatzas Hamayonis, that itself is the geula. What's the Geula? A whole lot of Afatzas Hamayonis. We do Afatzas Hamayonis to a certain point, and the Geula is the explosion of that Afatzas Hamayonis, exponentially more than we have done, and then the whole world becomes filled with it. But it's all one Indian. It's Afatzas Hamayonis. So the Alter Rebbe's redemption is the teichen of all the other Pada B'Shaloms. Yesh Loim, and now we can say in Siv Gimel, Shabias Mashiach Tzedkeinu, while Yedei Zeh Sheyefutzu Menesecha Chutza. Now the coming of Mashiach through this of Yafutza Manesecha Chutza, Muremezes Behemshach HaPasuk. So now when you look at, till now, the Rebbe just connected the first part. The Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of the Alter Rebbe, which is the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of Chasidus, is the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of the Shechina, the Jewish people, and Melech HaMashiach, and David and Melech. Fine. Now he's going to explain that that's also the Teichen of the next words. Birabim Hoya Yimadi. Very powerful. Muremezes Behemshach HaPasuk. The reason, what's the cause of Pada B'Shalom Nafshi? Be as David Malka Mashiach. What are we saying? We're saying Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, its ultimate meaning means that Mashiach comes. That's what Pada B'Shalom, the redemption. And we're saying what causes it? Hafatzas Hamayonis causes it. So the Rebbe says that's what the pasuk is saying. How do we get Pada B'Shalom Nafshi? Ki berabim hoyu imadi. So berabim hoyu imadi is hafatzas hamayonis. How do we see that berabim hoyu imadi is hafatzas hamayonis? So the Rebbe is going to explain it. We turn over to page 124. Berabim pidish. Berabim means pidish Yisroel lo neskaptzu v'nesachtu adayin liyas lachadim ke'echad. The Jewish people are not yet unified and collected together. Metzias achas. Elohem b'mayim the matzav shel rabim. See, there are two stages of the Jewish people. There is a state where all the Jewish people are unified together, standing right outside the Beis Hamikdash HaShlishi, or inside the Beis Hamikdash HaShlishi. It's going to be an amazing, magnificent, beautiful moment when we're all going to become unified as one neshama, standing right outside of the Beis Hamikdash HaShlishi, listening to Melech HaMashiach. It's going to be unbelievable. But then we're not in a state of Rabbim. Then we're in a state of Yochid. We're one entity. When are we in a state of Rabbim? We're in a state of Rabbim before Mashiach comes, when we are scattered across the world. As the Rebbe explains, Mefuzar u mefoirad bein ha'amim. When Yidden are scattered and spread out amongst the nations. Afal pi shegam oz hareim am echad. Even though then too we are one people, but we are an am echad that's in a state of Rabbim, because there are Jews that are in Asia, there are Jews in Africa, there are Jews in Europe, and there are Jews in North America, South America, across the entire globe. The afal pi kain. So that's the idea of birabim. What do we say? Birabim hoya imadi. That even though we're birabim hoya imadi, we're still with him. With who? With David HaMelech. Who is David HaMelech? Melech HaMashiach. So what we're really saying is, what is causing Mashiach to come? What's causing Mashiach to come is that all Jewish people, Birabim, the entire Jewish people, Haya Amadi, are with Mashiach. When we are all with him. So that's what he's explaining. Even though we're so far, geographically, and maybe involved in physically and whatever, we're so far away, but spiritually, internally, Melech HaMashiach says, David Malka Mashiach says, even though Padam B'Shalom, why am I being nifta? Because the Rabbim, because every single Jew, wherever he is, he's really rooting for me. Every Jew is campaigning for me. All Jews are with me. Shekol echad maharabim are with me. Im David Malka Mashiach. In other words, everybody's mitten Rebbe. Everybody's together with the Rebbe. Everybody's together. They're all together with the Eibishter. Mitzad b'chinas yechidah shebenafshe. Oh, how are you going to say, what do you mean? The Jewish people, Nebuch, we might say there is assimilation, there is all the problems, there's alienation, Yidden Nebuch are so lost, so many Jews are so disconnected, chas v'shalom, and so on. So the Rebbe always taught us that there's no such a thing as a Jew disconnected. He just doesn't know of his connection. Why? Because every Yid has a yechidah shebenafshe. Every single Yid is one pintel Yid where that never gets tarnished, that never gets broken, that never gets severed from the Eibishter. Shehi nitzutz min nishmasei shel David Malka Mashiach, which we know that Mashiach, he is the yechidah of the Jewish people. We know the 5 tzaddikim, David HaMelech is nefesh, and Eliyahu Hanavi is ruach, and Moshe Rabbeinu is neshama, and Adam Harishon is chai, and Mashiach Tzidkenu is yechidah. So if we say that every Yid's yechidah always is connected, that means every Yid has a nitzutz of Mashiach Tzidkenu. B'chinas yechidah ha'klolos, who Mashiach is the general yechidah. Shen yano, what's the inyan of Mashiach? Yechidah liyachtach. His job is that he's totally unified with the Eibishter. His yechidah, who is the yechidah of all the Jewish people, is liyachtach, is totally devoted to the oneness of the Eibishter, to the yechidah shaloyla. Shekshuro miyechadas ha'kadosh baruch hu. That is connected and bonded with the Eibush, the Yechidah Shalaylam, the singular being of the whole world. So what does that do? That makes that even though we might be scattered and we might think that we are fragmented and separated around the world, but we're not fragmented. Because the deepest point of every single Jew is unified in essence with the tzaddik, with Mashiach Tzidkenu, unified with him. And he is unified with Yechidah Shaloylam. So really we're all one and totally connected together. Then not only that, but that's only stage number 1. That Yidden are not disconnected. But that's not the inyan of Mashiach yet. The inyan of Mashiach is that our job now is, as a result of us being everywhere. On the one hand, we touch the farthest corners of the globe. But on the other hand, we still have Wi-Fi and totally unified through our Wi-Fi receptor, which is our Yechidah Shebenefesh. Even when a Jew is not conscious of it, that's the whole point. There's still a connection, no such thing that a Jew is not connected to the Neshama Kolelos of Mashiach Tzidkenu, who's sending signals, even if it's subconscious, to every single Jew across the entire world. And as we see it, the Rebbe is doing it through the Shluchim. It's getting to every single Jew no matter where he is. Fine. That's connecting every single Jew to the Yechidah Shalaylam, that we're all unified with that Yachid. And then what happens retro on the other end? Then we take that oneness, that singular Yechidah Shaloylam, that we're plugged into the Eibishter's Achdus, and we bring that out to be revealed in the pluralistic world that we're in. As we bring it into the Rishus Harabim. Meaning, so here's the Chiddush. The Chiddush is like this. Not only doesn't that big, ginormous, fragmented, what we might say, broken world, Reshus HaRabim, Klipa Digul world, not only doesn't it overwhelm us and destroy our connection to the singular essence of our soul, which is the Eibishter and so forth, not only can't it break us, we retain our connection to the oneness, but even more than that, we take that oneness and we bring that to reveal itself in the Reshus HaRabim to the point that we reveal that the Rabbim is not a Rabbim, that's really, the whole world is really unified with oneness. That's what the Rebbe says. We take that oneness and we megala that oneness throughout the whole world. Berabim kipshutai, Reshus HaRabim, Reshus HaRabim. Through the occupation and learning Torah. How do we do that? Through the occupation and learning Torah. Ubefrat pnimiyas HaTorah. Especially when we don't just teach Torah, but we teach pnimiyas HaTorah and learn. Kefishin is bara b'Torah Chassidic, that's explained in Torah Chassidic. And why is it more why do we bring the achdos, the unity of God, when we learn pnimiyas HaTorah? Because that's the yechida of Torah, as it's explained in Chassidus, that there's four levels of Torah: Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Said. That's four. And the fifth dimension, which corresponds to Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai. And the fifth dimension is Yechida. B'chinas ha-Yechida sheb'Torah, the oneness of Torah. Shabam is Galo Omeir ha'Oir sheb'Torah, which brings out the light of the Torah. Kemidgish b'Lashon Oiraisa. What's the word Oiraisa? Yisroel Oiraisa v'Kutsha b'Dichu Kul Echad. What's Oiraisa? Oiraisa is Oir Yesei. Light is coming. So that's the idea. The light of the oneness of the Eibishter through the Torah. Oir Yesei. That light will arrive. Or Yavai, light is coming. Sha'oir Atzmai, the light itself. Loira Gilui V'Espashtis Mimena, not just an outside ray of it, but the light itself. Boom is Gala B'chol Makam, comes everywhere. V'loirak, and that's the Rebbe is being medayik. And the words Oiraisa, which Oiraisa means the Torah, it's emphasizing that the light is arriving, but is arriving not only in Lashon Kodesh. The word that's used is Yesei. Yesei means arriving in Aramaic. What does that say? That it's arriving in other languages as well. And the light is going out into the chutzah. V'loirak b'Lashon HaKodesh, not only in Lashon HaKodesh, elegam b'Lashon Targum, Yesei. And what's Targum? Targum is one of the 70 languages, but it's the closest to Lashon HaKodesh. So therefore it acts as a mediator, as a connector between Lashon HaKodesh and the other languages. So through Targum, it flows into French, into English, and to all the other languages. And so what's being brought into all the 70 languages? The oir of Torah. And which is the oir of Torah, especially if it's pnimiyas of Torah, which is Yechida sheb'Torah. It's the Yechida, it's the Yachid, it's the Yechida shel Olam, which is spread out throughout the entire world. Which is the content of the Afatzas Amayanas Chutza. What's Afatzas Amayanas Chutza? We're taking the deepest Yediyas Alakus, we're taking Yechida Shalaylam, the knowledge of one God, and we're megalit in the furthest places. That's the Indian of Birabim Hayayimadi. Hear what the Rebbe is doing. The Rebbe is saying that the Indian of Birabim Hayayimadi is like this. Even though the Jewish people, Chas v'Shalom, we might look at them and think that they're nebach, scattered, and separated, and disconnected, and disjointed, Chas v'Shalom. Why? Because even though they're berabim, hoyimadi, they're still connected through the nitzutz of Mashiach that's inside of them. They're connected to the yechida of the Jewish people, and he is connected to the yechida shel olam. And that's number one. Number two, we derive the energy from that yachid, from that singular nucleus of our being, from our connection to Mashiach Tzidkenu. From there, we derive the energy to bring that oneness through each and every one of us, through our teachings of Torah that we teach through the world. Like we see now, Mamish, we're teaching through, right now, I'm teaching, it's going on YouTube, it can go on Facebook, it can go through WhatsApps. You're hearing it through the channels, and what are you hearing? You're hearing unity, you're hearing Pnimiyas HaTorah. There's Mamish, there's a Gilui. So this avoida of Afatzas Amayanis, this causes Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. This redeems the Shechina. The kiv and sheberab Maayon modi since berab Maayon modi shegam biyoisam b'mayim the massive the mafuzar mefored ben amim. That even though we're in a state of being scattered amongst the nations berabim, yesh behem b'chinas yechida. The Jewish people never lose their yechida. Hein b'chinas yechida shebenafsha. Whether the yechida that's in their own soul, the hem b'chinas yechida shebeTorah, and we also hold on to Chassidus, so we connect it to the yechida of Torah. Hakshura that is connected in yechida shaloylam with the yechida shaloylam, which is the Eibishter. Imadi v'al and through this megala machdus shel Baruch we reveal the unity of the Eibishter ba'olam in the world berabim imadi nasa inyan. So what does this affect? Pada b'shalom nafshi, that we have a p'diya b'shalom geula amitis v'ashlema. We have the complete redemption, which means padani liu labanem yebeinu umay sa'olam. You redeemed me, my children, from the nations. Al yedei Mashiach tzidkenu, through Mashiach tzidkenu. Gevaldik. So that you see how in Yutes Kislev, the Inyan of Pada b'shalom nafshi is mamash Mashiach, one thing. Now the Rebbe says in Perik Daled, Vadgosh meyuched is being in the Pada b'shalom nafshi b'Yutes Kislev b'shana. Now there's an extra emphasis on Yutes Kislev in this year, meaning the year the Rebbe said it in Nun Beis. Now what's so beautiful is, as I told you, that Nun Beis and this year that we're in right now is mamash parallel because it comes out the exact same calendar. Same amount of days, same amount of months, the exact same year like Nun Beis. That's why it's such an unbelievable Mashiach year, and we need to tune in. We can't, chas v'shalom, lose this opportunity that we have now. The energy that the Rebbe created, Mashiach energy in Tafshin Nun Beis, was unbelievable. Never in the world, never in the history was there such a Mashiach moment. And this year, it replays in so many ways. First of all, it's the exact same year. So he says like this. First, first of all, this year, Yutes Kislev comes out on a Tuesday. Again, the Rebbe is talking about Tafshin Nun Beis, and we're learning it now in Tafshin when Ayin Tes. But again, these years are exactly the same. So this year, when is Yutes Kislev going to come out? It's going to come out, so just like it happened in Bishnas Tavkuf Nun Tes, just like in 1798. When did Yutes Kislev come out? It came out on a Tuesday. Where you have a double kitov. And then it continued, as we know, the Yom Tov of Yutes Kislev continues for 2 days. The 20th of Kislev, which is on a Wednesday, which then the luminaries were hung up on the sky. So what's so special then? What's special then is so then in the Shir Tehillim, like it is divided according to the days of the week, so then we say, you see, when Yutes Kislev comes out, let's say on a Thursday, so there's no direct connection to Pada b'shalom nafshi, because on Thursday, first of all, the 19th day, we don't say it's Pada b'shalom nafshi is in the 10th day of Tehillim, of the month. And so it's not in that one. It's also not on the Thursday Tehillim. It's not on the Sunday Tehillim. It's on the Tuesday Tehillim if you're splitting it according to the days of the week. So when it comes out like that, so it's the same. That's why the Alter Rebbe said it. The reason the Alter Rebbe said it was why did the Alter Rebbe read that? Because it was on Tuesday, and he was reading the daily Tehillim of the day of the week. So this year you have an extra connection to Pada b'shalom nafshi. But hear this. This is Gavaldik. Now, even though Apipashtis, there's no connection mitzad the days of the month. The connection is only mitzad the days of the week, as we said earlier. When you divide Tehillim by the weekly count, Tuesday has Pada b'shalom nafshi. But on the monthly count, it's the 19th. On the 19th day of the month, we say Kapitel Tzadik. Pada b'shalom nafshi is in Kapitel Nun Hey. Okay? So, v'yesh la'osav we can say. Also connected to the days of the month. Why? When you divide Tehillim according to the days of the month, it's connected to the 10th day. When do you say? As we said earlier, it's on the 10th day, on Yud, every 10th day of the month, we say Pada b'shalom nafshi. But the Rebbe says an interesting thing. Hashleimus the Yud, when you look at the letter Yud, you see that in a Yud there's hidden letters, because every letter has hidden letter. So in the letter Yud there is Yud, Vav, Dalet. There is another Yud. Vav and Dalet is 6 and 4 and makes up another 10. Yud b'maloya hu kaf is kaf. Yud, Vav, Dalet b'gematria Esr. So when you take together Yud, Vav, Dalet, you have 20. And what's the second day of Yutes Kislev? Yutes Kislev is the 19th of Kislev and the 20th of Kislev. So the Rebbe is not connecting it to the 19th, but he's connecting it to the 20th, Chav Kislev. Chav Kislev, because it's such an interesting connection. Because when you're saying Tehillim of the month, when are you saying it? You're saying in Yud Kislev. And the shleimus of the Yud is really 20, because the Yud has another Yud inside of it, so it's 20. So really the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi that you're saying on Yud Kislev is really extending and really reaching its full power, even though you're not saying it on that day. 10 days later on Chav Kislev. And when the Rebbe says Kaf, base Pamim Eser, Asera Asren Allah, connected to this week's parasha, Yaakov Avinu says, I will tithe to you. He says 2 times Aser, which means 2 times 10. Shemayra al B'chinas HaKeser, which is indicative of the level of Keser. Chaf. Now, what is Kaf? What does 20 have to do with Keser? First of all, Keser is Rosh Tevis, crown. The word crown, Keser, begins with a Chaf. Rosh Tevis Keser, but also Esrim begamatria Keser. The word Esrim, Chaf, the letter Chaf, the number associated with the letter Chaf is 20. So, what's the Hebrew words for 20? Esrim. If you do the gematria of the word Esrim, it's exactly 620. Which is Gematria Kes. Shekosherim inyan Malchus. Now the Rebbe says the 20th day of Kislev is connected to kingship. The Rebbe wants to connect it to Melech HaMashiach. So he says Chaf is Gematria Kes, and we're talking about the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi of Yud, which double Yud. Remember we said in Yud is 2 Yuds, so double Yud is Chaf, which is Kes. It's the Pediyah of Melech HaMashiach's crown. And Mashiach is connected to a crown, because Malchus ki yedua sheyofi HaMelech, the beauty of the king, Melech b'yofyo yitachzena einecha. The king has to be seen in beauty. Totally b'keser HaMalchus. It's dependent on the king's crown. Shleimus HaMalchus beis David. Ayadei David Malka Mashiach. The shleimus of Malchus beis David through David Malka Mashiach. Ushleimus Malchus shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'olam, which is connected to the shleimus of the Eibishter's Malchus. Kama shekasav v'oisel Hashem Amlucha, the Eibishter will be Melech. So it's connected. Now that connected, by the way, only to the 20th day. How about Yutes Kislev? So take a look at the bottom, Ha'ara 36. I find this to be so amazing. Ha'ara 36. Oleheyer sha'pasik pada b'shalom nafshi. The pasuk pada b'shalom nafshi, again, it's in Kapitel Nun Hey of Tehillim, and it's in the Yom Yud, not in the Yom Yutes, but the Rebbe says who pasuk Yutes. It's the 19th pasuk of Nun Hey. So it's Miramis to the 19th of Kislev. And the Rebbe says that's, if you will understand why the Alter Rebbe was emphasizing so much when he was writing in the letter that he went out when he was saying Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. The Alter Rebbe didn't just say it when I was reading Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. He says when I was reading the pasuk Pada B'Shalom Nafshi, before I began the next pasuk. He's saying when I was reading that pasuk. Why? Because which pasuk it is? It's pasuk 19, which is associated with Yutes, the day the Alter Rebbe went out. Excuse me. Yom Tegadik Shabala Gula Bat Gosh Chalukas Apsukim Keshari Karisi Bepasik Pada B'Shalom Nafshi Koidim Sheschalti Pasik Shala Achrav Yitzasi B'Shalom. I went out in peace. Okay, but here I just want to say the next piece, and then we're gonna close for today. V'oid ve'ikr, just what connects it so specially to this year. Hamaylam Yochedes the Yutes Kislev B'Shana Zu, the quality of Yutes Kislev in this year. Gam Legabe Yashanim Shebehem Chal Yutes Kislev B'Yom Ashlishi Shuva. Well, there are many years that Yutes Kislev comes out on a Tuesday. Till now we spoke about the Mila that it came out on a Tuesday. But there must be something very special that's coming out this year. What's the special? And here's again, the Rebbe is saying something that's connected only l'chura to the year of Tavshin Nun Beis, but yet it's mamish the same idea this year as well. Even though listen why. Since the Rebbe says that in Tavshin Nun Beis, we think the Rebbe is holding in his 90th year, but again to the Rebbe himself. Okay, the Rebbe is connecting this all to the Geula of David HaMelech. And as you can see already from all the Sichas in Nun Beis, the Rebbe is Mekasher himself, the Friedrich Rebbe himself, to the Malchus of Mashiach, to David HaMelech. So the Rebbe says, since we're finished with Shnas Pei Tes, and we're now entering we're in Shnas Tzadik, and Shna, which means the 90th year, Pei Tes Begamatria Pada. Pada is Pei Dalet Hey, so it's 89. So since we finished Pada, שכבר נשלמו מהפדיע מכל העניונים שמוינם ומעקפים ביסוד מלכות משיח. We're already done with all the obstacles, all the inyanim that might get in the way that should not allow Melech HaMashiach to redeem the Jewish people, because we're past 89. So 89 is already Pada. We've already reached the level of Pada B'Shalom. And what does it say in the end of Kapitel 89 in Tehillim, Kapitel Peites? It says, Ashacherfu ikvais meshichecha, that there are those who make fun, those who are obscure, those who stand and are I don't know exactly. Cherfu means they yeah, it means making fun. They laugh at the ikvais meshichecha. And we're done with that. Kesiyam v'chaysem mizmar pada peites betelim. V'nimtzam kvar b'shnas hatzadik. We're already in the 90th year. Hakshurim ha'geula ha'shlishis u'beis ha'migdash ha'shlishi, which is connected to the third geula and the third beis ha'migdash. And what does it say already in Kapitel Tzadik? Kapitel Tzadik, it doesn't talk anymore about Ashacherfu ikvais meshichecha. It talks about, it's the capital of Yoshe B'Seser Elyon, which ends with the words V'hinoyam u'maisei yadeinu koinenehu kesiyam v'chaysem mizmar tzadik b'tehillim. Like the end of mizmar tzadik of Tehillim, V'hinoyam Hashem Elokeinu shaboy maschilim. I'm sorry, it's not Yoshe B'Seser. It's not. It's 91. 90 is what is it? What was 90? Tefillah Moshe, I think. V'chaysem mizmar tzadik b'tehillim shaboy maschal shir tehillim de'yoyim yutes b'chodesh yutes Kislev. And then, in other words, the Rebbe is saying, when you're starting Tzaddik in Tehillim this year, we're actually starting the 19th day of Tehillim. Because the 19th of Tehillim, Yutes Kislev, begins with Shnas HaTzadik, with Perek Tzaddik. Akupanim, why is this connected to this year? Because remember, as I mentioned to you many times, this year is also Shnas HaTzadik. The year that Rebbe is referring to is Shnas HaTzadik to his birthday. And this year is Shnas HaTzadik of the Rebbe's marriage, which we're having now, Yud Dalet Kislev. And we know that in that sense, the Rebbe, as Nasi Chabad, is related through his marriage. So in that sense, we're reliving Shnas HaTzadik now. So there's a tremendous power in Pada B'Shalim Nafshi that there should be the redemption. Now it's interesting how last year, Yud Dalet Kislev, and on Yutes Kislev, we received the news, there was the announcement regarding to Yerushalayim, which is the beginning of building the third Beis HaMikdash, is that Yerushalayim is the capital of the Jewish people. And Trump announced that when? On Yutes Kislev. And his decision not to sign the waiver for another 6 months was actually on Yud Dalet Kislev. So you see that the Shnas HaTzadik of the Rebbe already, and Yutes Kislev, the powerful redemption power of Pada B'Shalim Nafshi, affected last year. And last year was only the beginning of Shnas HaTzadik. So for sure this year, we should see tremendous, if there's a tremendous empowerment for us to have an unbelievable geula, or not unbelievable geula. We should have the complete geula. Total geula shalema, may it be takeoff of miyad mamish, may it happen. Now, Be'ez Hashem. So next week, Wednesday night, I'm speaking in New York, so I won't be able to give the class, but we can do it Tuesday night. So Be'ez Hashem, Tuesday night, we'll do the class, and we'll figure out the timing for the following week. Be'ez Hashem. Okay, everyone, Zayga benched. We should already experience the full Pada B'Shalim Nafshi.